Why is everyone freaking out right now? We're on the precipice of life-changing gains, and yet the sentiment in the market today is extremely bearish. We've gone from optimistic 3 days ago to now the whole world's over and the bull run's over yet again. Guys, I'm going to make this video short and sweet because things are about to get crazy here in a minute. Now, if you don't take advantage of times like these in ways I'm about to show you, then you're going to stay in the same position you've always been. Fortune favors the brave. You can choose to be brave, or you can choose to listen to the BS. It's up to you. Let me keep you up to speed with everything I've got so far, and hopefully you can make an informed decision yourself. Guys, do not forget though, before we start, hit that like button. It goes a long way, helps support me to come back every day and producing the quality content you want to see. And the subscribe button is right next door. It would be a massive shame if you didn't hit that as well. So let me do you a massive favor here and give you the big, bad, horrible news as to why everyone's freaking out right now. Because Bitcoin dominance is up. There's a little sprinkle of micro strategies fun in there, a little bit, but the main reason people are freaking out is because Bitcoin's going up and altcoins are going down. When did that ever become a bad thing? Okay? In order for us to grow as a market, Bitcoin has to bring in people, has to bring in interest. Probably one of the reasons you got in the market recently is because you saw Bitcoin going up past 100K or pushing towards 100K and you thought, I better get in. What did you do then? You went, oh, not much money is to be made here. I better look for altcoins. Many people, millions in fact, follow the same train of thought, and this is exactly what we need. So why people are freaking out, I've got no idea, okay? We've moved up here a little bit, and as a matter of fact, what happened in the last cycle? We came down in dominance. We topped out around 70%, like we recently did over here at about 62.5%. And then we came down and chopped a little bit in this range here for approximately 48 days. Now, I'm not saying we're going to chop here for 48 days, but what I do know, these cycles are actually working out here quite similar. And as a matter of fact, if we do chop here in Bitcoin's dominance and therefore chop in altcoins, they might go up, they might come down. It's overall net positive because it's going to bring more people in. The more mature this market is, the longer it takes for us to reach these red zones down here, which is when the market will likely top out, and then from there, everything will come down, the better. The more our altcoins will grow, and of course, the more they grow, the more money we make. Now, this is just my opinion. Everyone has their own opinion, and oftentimes when the market's going down, the opinion of those who are very pessimistic often come to light, and when it's bullish, those who are often very bullish, of course, come to light as well. So be careful of that. But facts are facts, and when it comes to the on-chain metrics, that stuff doesn't lie. Most people right now are in profit, and usually, based on history, that first initial pump you can see here usually lasts about 6 to 12 months of people almost always being in profit. All right, so everyone that's in Bitcoin is in profit. It's usually when the long-term holders begin selling off substantially, which they are right now, but not to the same degree they would normally sell off towards the top of the cycle, you can see over here, when price really begins to crumble down and when short-term holders really begin rapidly buying. Think of this like long-term holders being in so much more profit than the short-term holders because they have such lower buy-in prices that they have to sell to short-term holders. And as that sell-off happens, short-term holders are like, great, we're going to keep buying, the price keeps going up because they're not in that much profit comparable to the long-term holders, which is why you have long-term holders have that massive cascade effect because prices going up so much from the short-term holders, they're incentivized to keep selling, and then eventually price hits a point where short-term holders have to start selling because the market just goes down from the long-term holders. They have a very synergetic relationship. That's why I wanted to point it out. It's not the be-all and end-all. There are actually other indicators that we can look at as well that are probably pretty useful, like this, the CBBI index. This just aggregates a whole bunch of, I believe, very reliable and accurate indicators in the market into one score. And right now the score is about 83 out of 100. And normally we don't need to start panicking until we're in and around 97, which is around the top of the cycle. Again, this video isn't designed to be a, hey, let's try to talk about the top of the cycle. But of course, in giving you confidence that there is likely going to be the massive cycle that we're all expecting it to be, you have to look at what the on-chain stuff is telling us, what the indicators are also signaling. If these are all signaling get out, this would be a different video. I'd be telling you guys right now, hey, I'm packing my bags, I'm getting out, and this is the reasons why, and this is how I'm doing it. But it's just not right now anyway. And I think one of the most important things, I think a lot of you new beginners to the space are yet to really realize and find is that when you actually have a tether or understanding or experience in the mass euphoria, mass hysteria stage of the cycle and actually been through much larger drops than what we're seeing right now, you really have no idea or way to go, okay, what we're experiencing right now is sizable. You know, when you see meme coins go up 1,000x in a day, or when you see some of these coins, large caps go up an 8x like Hedera up in like a week or a month, and we have 20% pullbacks, that to you is the top of the cycle because that's just so abnormal. You don't know what it's actually like to be in a state where things are like 100 times worse or crazier than what it is right now. So like I said, we aren't even really at the beginning of all this yet. How do I know that? This is the current market cap of all the altcoins, excluding the top 10. Now, we haven't even broken past the previous cycle's all-time market cap in these coins. That's crazy to me. We actually went up about a 6.5x from the 2018 highs to the last cycle's highs. And if we forecast some diminishing returns, aka a 4.5x, give or take, so losing about a multiple here, to go to a 2 trillion global market cap of all altcoins, that would actually submit quite well into the $12 trillion global market cap cycle theory, where, again, a lot of people are assuming we go between 8 to 12 trillion, maybe even a little bit more. And this would also go in line with a rough 200 to 250K Bitcoin price prediction. Things stack up here. It's kind of crazy how they're all starting to make a little bit of sense. And I think the final cherry on top of all this is to just show you the dominance levels here overlaid with the market cap of the altcoins, right? And we actually, every single cycle, have a mid-cycle pump. This happened back here in 2016 before the 2018 cycle. This happened back here in 2020 before the 2021 cycle. And this happened recently earlier on this year / late last year before this cycle. After these mid-cycle pumps, what happens? We have a dump or a crash in the dominance of altcoins. Same thing happened back here and same thing happened over here. What happens immediately after that bottom? We go crazy. We have a massive push, crash, and push. Massive push, crash, and push. Again, this is altcoins dominance. So we have yet to have that first massive push here for altcoins and dominance. Then we can expect, roughly speaking, a sizable dip, which means that likely Bitcoin will probably begin finding some more relevance at that point before that last massive push. Now, if you ask me, like I said, these dips are completely normal. Okay, we've had, if you want to even call them dips, maybe, yeah, in Bitcoin's price here over the last few months, right, since November, basically. Okay, we went down about 8% and also recently about 7%. Okay, people cry about this in the last cycle, guys. We had seismic, to say the least, dumps. Now, will we have the same sort of crashes and events again? Probably not, because we're a much more mature market where these ETFs and institutional players aren't going to want to panic dump their Bitcoin and all the rest of it. But that's what I'm trying to say here, guys. If we can't overcome, you know, even these 8 to 9, 10% minus days in Bitcoin and possibly 20% dips in our altcoins in a single day, then, you know, you don't really have what it takes to be in this market, I think. As truthful as it sounds, as brutal as it might sound, if you were in the last cycle, I get it, it's not the last cycle, but if you were in the last cycle, you would have been the perfect candidate for whales because you just simply are buying and selling based on emotion. That is the last thing you want to do in a market like this. You follow your emotion, you end up catching your tail, you end up just absolutely screwing yourself over. Now, we can sit here and quibble over Bitcoin's dominance, right? And whether it will continue going up or down, again, that's the main reason here why we are seeing, you know, altcoins fall and people panic, which is, again, completely part of the cycle. It's just normal. But the way I see it is playing out exactly like 2021, aka back over here with this side chop. So this is good and expected. What I need you guys to think about here is just focusing on DCAing. So when drops happen, you want to be buying, right? So in my personal opinion, the way you want to do this, think about this. When markets are going up, when these altcoins are going up, you want to buy in, right? That's green. Green means go, okay? We've been taught this. You go stop sign, you know, green means go and all the rest of it. But I want you to try something out for this next pump that happens here. I want you to just stack up a little bit of cash, don't financially, of course, do what you want, and hoard it rather than, you know, buying on the way up. And then on a next crash that will likely come within a month or two, potentially a larger one that may occur here sometime in Q1 of next year, you'll then have a bit of cash to be able to inject when those prices dump. Rather than sort of expending all that cash on the way up, therefore increasing your average buy price, you'll have a bunch of cash to then rather inject when the prices come down. And that single bunch of purchases is so fantastic, it will trump any other DCAs you do on the way up and try to panic. Okay, like I showed you, we might actually have some larger down days in these altcoins because when Bitcoin falls and altcoins also fall in terms of their price, not dominance, it is way, way more hectic of a drop for altcoins than these 10, 20% drops we're seeing right now. Because again, money is still flowing into the market positive. It's just flowing into Bitcoin right now. And that's it, guys. It is just simply the Altseason money flow chart. It's just how it is. Welcome to crypto. This shouldn't be news to you. And if it is, start learning ASAP, because your exit liquidity, my friend, and I don't want you to be, but again, someone has to, right? You also want to understand cycles. You want to understand that we're in a cycle right now, the bull and the bear market, but believe it or not, there's multiple cycles within the cycle. Within the broader cycle itself, as we know it, we're in a bull run. That's great. That's one checkbox. The smaller cycles that occur here are narrative cycle pumps, all right? So each coin has narrative cycles where we see the altcoins kind of blow, have a bit of a cool down, and then blow again. Always their all-time high. So this peak euphoria moment here for altcoins always is their all-time high. All altcoins will follow a similar pattern. They will never reach that price ever again. You may think they will, hardly ever they do. It's very rare to find an altcoin has its all-time high after what's called its narrative pump, or what it's known for, pump. Then you have, again, sub-narrative pumps or Bitcoin pump or huge news that occurs, but it never goes up to the same price again, which is where you might be convinced, hey, AI's pumped, I'm in FET, I didn't take profit in FET on the narrative pump, but there's big news coming out, I'm going to hold my bags. Guys, I'll tell you what right now, do what you want, but from my experience, that never happens, all right? You never get to the same price as the narrative pump again. Also, scenario 2 might play out as well, where altcoins might actually have the narrative pump second. Either way, there is a single point in time where peak euphoria comes in to that specific area of coins, that niche, and that is when you have to execute. And the best way you can possibly execute is by setting up your sell levels. We have these sell levels, of course, in the private community. You punch in 3 numbers, and it gives you a whole bunch of different sell plans and the reason and way you want to use these sell plans specifically as well. Whatever altcoins you're buying, whatever altcoins you're tracking, it's so important you DCA correctly. Do not, I will repeat, do not just buy altcoins because you feel like this one might make you the most money on the top side. You would be surprised at how much extra money on the top side, overall revenue, overall profit that you can make by being very strategic with your DCAs. And it's not hard. It sounds hard. It's really not hard at all, especially when you leverage tools in the private community like this. I've got many videos, even up on the channel for free for you guys, that show you how to use tools like this. And you can very easily reverse engineer it. If you can't afford membership, of course, you can do it yourself for free. All right, so I'm just trying to give you guys as much information as I can. Be strategic, because if you're strategic, you can actually make more money on the top side of your portfolio, which means that you can do 2 things. Make more money, which is great, or you can actually reduce your average sell price on all your coins further and further down to achieve your target goal of what you want out of the cycle, okay? That means you're exiting crypto safer. So I'll stop waffling on that topic, but it's very important. But I just want you guys to understand that these are the times to buy. If you believe that the cycle is about to end, then why are you even watching this video? Get out and call it a day, all right? This isn't for you. This is for the people like myself who believe the best is yet to come. And again, just hold steady, guys, hold steady. Support each other in the comments below. And with that being said, I'll talk to you all tomorrow. Take good care of yourselves. Bye-bye.